Okay.
Yeah, I know everybody been waiting to hear what happened in court. I kind of already know, but crazy what you told me. But like I told you, it's a learning experience. But man, I want you to tell everybody that's listening, like, what happened?
3 hours, not really going back and forth about the case, just, waiting, reported to the courthouse for 9 a.m. The attorney show up. Well, actually, it was just one attorney for Experian.
Mhm.
Equifax TransUnion had like their CEO. So, it's a white male and two white women against this black Southern woman from Mississippi again.
Yeah.
And so, they're there. I had submitted some things in my file. I think what's today, Thursday? I think it was Tuesday. I stopped by the courthouse. Submitted some things like my 605B and my FTC identity theft report, right, to go into the case for today. However, they came from a totally different perspective. So it was a learning experience. I did learn how to actually go through the process of getting a court date in a court hearing and to sue the credit agencies. I was really surprised that they showed up. But when I told you they showed up, I think you were surprised too.
Yeah, I was, especially when you told me they flew in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
So
was
I'm not sure if they flew in because of the amount that I was pursuing to collect for them financially, which was $1,000 because we're in small
right.
claims. So, I want to keep it under $3,500. At least that's how it works in Mississippi. And so with the added court fees and my court costs, had
Let
I
me
won,
let, not to
go
cut
ahead.
y'all in, so that people can understand why you kept it under 3,500. Like if you go over
Mhm.
$3,500, what happens if you go over $3,500?
Then it's out of justice court or small claims, as they call it.
Okay,
And
okay,
then it goes to circuit court, which is,
okay,
a higher monetary amount that you're pursuing or
right,
that you're suing for.
okay,
So I just want to keep it um, in justice court and small claim, also known as small claims court.
okay. So
Right.
what happened? What else happened?
So I have my I'm going to tell you what I've learned of the L's I took of probably why I didn't get the financial win, but I did get a judgment to have the derogatory item from Navy Federal deleted from my account. Last week, you and I talked, and the motion to dismiss with Navy Federal, we did a live stream on that. We did a Zoom on that about that motion to dismiss for the $50,436 from Navy Federal. And so, with that being said, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion stated that today was their first time seeing that motion to dismiss, and Equifax has not notified them of that updated status. And so as of today, August 15th, the account is still reporting on my credit report as of today. And this is something you're probably familiar with. This is a piece of evidence that Equifax brought, the automated consumer dispute verification.
Right, yeah,
So
the ACD, yeah.
yeah, and
It's
so
like
that's
part
why
of that.
right. I think I didn't win the money because I didn't come from a angle of the verification method that they were supposed to have, not automated dispute verification, but requesting the verification of contractual agreement bearing my signature. And so in the initial filing, I just sued for mental anguish, humiliation, higher interest rate, and denial of credit. So I didn't come to court with that documentation that I was recently denied for credit, or higher interest rates, or showing that any of my accounts were closed. But that's what I put in the paperwork that I was suing $1,000 for, according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Now, I'm sure if I want to countersue and ask them and prove that this is, it is a method of verification, but however, if I want to countersue, I could ask them for the signed contract, bearing my signature as the official document of verification. This is a way to verify. But according to the law, you can dispute that way and ask for a more 100% proof of accuracy, if I'm saying it right, type way.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand, and I hope everybody else does.
Mhm.
Yeah, what you talking about, the ACD, is like, it's really not no paperwork. It's all computers. Like, one meaning it belongs to you, two meaning it does not belong to you. Like, that's basically what it entails. In my opinion, after talking to you today, I just feel like even with the judge that you had,
Yeah.
I feel like for a judge not to even know if they can even try the case or not, or that it has to be in federal court, man, that speaks volumes to, like, okay, she was so uninformed, and then I think you said at the end of court, one of the lawyers from, I guess, Equifax or whatever, left her a manual. That's crazy.
Yeah. So let's reverse back to that. Again, I didn't leave till around noon, 12. We was in there at 9. So of course I asked to step out the courtroom to give you a phone call. And the judge at that point was questioning if she could even, if this was a case under her jurisdiction, because the Fair Credit Reporting Act are federal laws. And I said, well, Corey, what questions can I ask the attorney, or how can I inform her that yes, this is a small claims case that she can take under the Fair Credit Act laws? And you can tell them what you told me, or if you want me to repeat it, that's fine.
Oh yeah, you can repeat it.
Yeah, you was like, first of all, ask her if you can ask the attorney, because it was only one true attorney there. Again, the other ones were just kind of standbys, and they were CEOs from Equifax and TransUnion. Listen, I didn't hear anything from TransUnion. Equifax did try to handle this before it went to court, but it didn't. Experian reached out to me too. TransUnion was mute the whole time. So you told me to ask the attorney from Experian, had they ever tried cases like this in Chancery Court? Had they, what was their record of going to small claims courts, going to justice courts, and defending under consumer laws?
Right.
And so they had to inform and educate her that although these was federal laws and statutes, that these falls under the umbrella of consumer laws and a small claims jurisdiction. So right then and there, I was already like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Anytime they educate her, it's not
It's
gonna be good.
crazy.
Right.
It's crazy.
Absolutely. And so this was just Equifax produced just a checkoff automated consumer dispute verification. And the response code, it gives 4 different response codes they could have had: verified as reported, disputed info accurate, and account information unrelated to dispute, delete account or delete fraud. So I'm going to give them maybe 2 weeks to see if they're going to just delete it from the court hearing. And then I submitted something on Monday that you provided me as well, to see how that works. However, if I don't get the, something of notice within maybe 10 business days, then I'm going to go directly to the Fair Credit Reporting Act law and state that they should have a legal signed contract bearing my signature, or some type of evidence of factual agreement at the place of business, that they saw the contractual agreement being made, that is not just hearsay, that they have firsthand knowledge of the account being established. And so if this method, doesn't work, so I won on the judgment that they are agreeing to delete the count. I didn't win the financial of the mental stress and humiliation, higher interest rate fees. So, I won in one area. The only reason why I didn't win financially is because I just didn't bring any proof of that. I didn't bring any proof that I recently applied for any credit or higher interest rates or any of my accounts in good standing. And I was still in defendant mode mindset. I'm gonna be honest. Because I had went to court in June for Navy Federal as a defendant, and they was the plaintiff. And so instead of me bringing the evidence as the plaintiff, I was still in defendant mindset of, okay, you all produce the evidence, but I should have brought my own evidence to show that this is, the process I've been through. I should have brought more evidence of the disputes. But again, even with my evidence, because they were educating her, they postured themselves as more of the expert, and she wasn't aware of Fair Credit Act laws. And like a lot of times, like we tell people, what this judge was used to doing, because I sat there for 3 hours today and listened to other court cases.
Right.
It's just judging cases based on defaults of no shows.
Right.
And so she was not used to a consumer, and I don't think she was in favor of a consumer person, because she told someone before me that when you come in to represent yourself as a consumer, it's very hard to go against an attorney. So for whatever reason, that was her belief as a judge, that I don't think she is very favorable as a consumer representing themselves, beating an attorney.
Right.
I don't know if that looked bad in the judicial system or what, but she just wasn't in favor of that. So you did tell me if I wanted to, that I could file another dispute if I wanted to.
Yeah. Or you could take the you could refile it and sue them in a different state. Like I told you, like in my opinion, it's still a win even today, because you learned something. So
Right.
if you got to do it over again, the next time you're gonna even be better defending yourself. Like you already know, like, okay, I should have did this, I should have did that. Because even if you were to go against them again with a different judge, the outcome probably gonna be different. I wouldn't, you just went to school. Because when it's all said and done, the account will be deleted off your credit. So, that's how I look at it. Like I done took a lot of L's, and then I won some. But like you said, like when I told you, when they were trying to sue me to put a lien against my house for like fraudulent conveyance, when I went to court, I did have a lot of evidence. I had a stack of papers, like I was already prepared. It was a few things that I did not know, and I was learning like in real time while I was in court. Like, oh, I see he's saying if I say this, the attorney would say hearsay. So I was learning like, oh, okay, I know what to say. When it gets to me, or they say something, oh, hearsay, Your Honor. I was learning in real time, and I won. But I had a reasonable judge who looked at everything, and I don't think that you had that today given the fact that this judge didn't even know if she could try the case or not. So they
Right.
already kind of had the upper hand from the get-go. So
Exactly.
yeah,
And then, sometimes just go and listen to other cases. For example, there was a woman in a wheelchair and debt collector. I think it was Midland Funding. Think
Midland Fund,
suing
yeah.
her. Yeah, everybody know Midland Funding, right? We're suing her, and she's in a wheelchair. She's in a blanket. She has her mask on. She has her scarf on. And she's going through cancer. She was diagnosed with breast cancer, and then I think she's saying that recently today she now is dealing with bone cancer. And the first question the judge asked her is this account yours? And she just uneducated answered and said yes. And I was like, no, it's not. I was
It's
thinking,
not.
I
That's
said,
all
oh
she had to
no,
say.
no, right. No, it's not. You never had any business transaction or contractual agreement with Midland Funding. Your debt was sold to them. But that's not your account. And I felt for her because she was crying. She was showing that her financial status had changed. And I think it's something you told me that maybe if she would have known, she could have done. The amount was a little bit over $1,400, if I remember correctly. And she was telling the judge, my financial status had changed. I have so many medical bills, judge. I try to pay my bills. And I wonder if there's some type of way that I can set up a payment plan. However, I just thought about people like that, if they know what to do before it gets to the court, how to respond to it, before it gets to the court. And this is something I want to ask you that you might know as well. Because again, I was in there 3 hours and I had conversations with different people. Another lady told me she was there for a medical bill collection from the hospital, but they didn't summons her directly. They just left the summons on her door. So she decided to at least show up for court. Is there any way that she could dispute that in court? That they didn't summons her in her hand, they didn't identify her, but they left it on her door.
You know what they doing now? Like they are doing like they basically serving people through the mail, and they can do that, but it goes back to, like you said, the first question the judge asked the lady. She could have did two things. The first question the judge asked the lady was, "Is this your debt?" If she would have just said, "No,
Mhm.
it's not my debt," that would have changed the whole case. Number one. Number two, what I had sent you was, because I told you I was in this situation, and I'm playing a game with them. You could fill out what's called a pauper's oath. That's what I sent you.
Okay, yes, that's
Yeah,
what I
it
thought.
was. It's
Yeah.
called a pauper's oath, and basically what the pauper's oath says, like, hey, I don't have no, I don't have no damn money. I don't have nothing, and you
Mhm.
gotta file. You fill out the paperwork and file that with the court. She could have did those two things, but yeah, they could serve you in the mail. Uh, you know, because they doing it in a lot of different states. Because with me, my thing was like, I don't let them serve me. If
Right.
somebody trying to serve me, I don't let them serve me, because if you don't serve me, then we ain't gonna never go to court.
Mhm.
I got caught like that one time. When I told you they did that with when I had the rental house, like back in 2013, and they put it on the internet, and people saw one part of it, but they ain't see the other part when I went back to
Mhm.
court and I won. But yeah, they can do that, and that's and a lot, and that picked up a whole lot during the pandemic.
Mhm.
Because people weren't able to go to court. They was
Right.
doing it through Zoom and all of this. So but that first question, or even the lady that told you she's there, because hospitals really don't sue you like that. They outsource it. So like that's why you find a lot of collection agencies that have uh, hospital accounts, because they
Mhm.
don't, like, I'm never gonna see um I'm never gonna see Baptist Memorial Hospital or Methodist or LeBonner Hospital like directly suing me unless it's some major case. But if it's like a collection, 9 times out of 10, like let's say here in Memphis, they gon' they gonna sell it to like a collection agency or sign it to a collection agency that handles all they delinquent accounts.
Mhm.
But yeah, I can imagine how you felt when she was like, yeah, it is mine. But if you don't
Right,
know, you don't
right,
know.
right.
And that's why I told you, man, count this as like you going to court today, those 3 hours, man, that's a win.
Mhm.
Cause you could, you could begin to help other people with like, hey, this the move I made, this worked, this didn't work, you know. But if you did like me, like I went more than one time. Like if you was to start, like if you had a lot of stuff you was fighting out, you'd be good in the end. Like you'll get to the point, like I told you, when it came to me talking to a judge or an attorney, I'm talking to them just like I'm talking to you. I ain't got butterflies. I'm not afraid of what's gonna happen. Like I'm asking them, like when you went back in there and you asked, hey, can I ask the attorney, like, hey, have y'all ever tried this case in circuit court or whatever? Because they
Right,
know, like, if this what you do, you know better than I do. This is my first time.
right.
So, but glad you went through the process, and like I told you, keep it moving. You
Now,
know,
if I had to go again, or if somebody's going, I would advise them to take your Fair Credit Reporting Act laws
yeah,
because they left the book with the judge. And look, I tried to
yeah,
go back in the courtroom, right? Because I'm like, okay, you all still in here talking about my case and carrying on. And I didn't win my financial part of it, but I won the other judgment part of deletion. And the
right.
what they called it? The
The bailiff,
yeah, the bailiff, the born and fight man.
yeah,
He was like, "You can't come back in here, Mr. Loach." I'm like, "But they talking about my case, but I can't hear what they talking about." Well, I'm gonna ask you to leave. I'm like, if they can stay in here and congregate about my case, then why can't I stay in and he asked me again, so I didn't want to get handcuffed.
right,
And
right.
and then
I see what kind of courtroom you was in.
you know, I'm telling you, I'm
Yeah,
in the South. I'm in
yeah,
Mississippi, and and they congregated and laughing, and they left her the booklet of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. I did ask them to quote the Fair Credit Reporting Act 609 A1A, about but that is not the law that requires them to show the signed contract. And honestly, if I did not have that printed out, the judge wouldn't have understood it anyway.
right,
So next time, because at first she was like, doesn't this have to go under Mississippi laws? And we discussed the statute of limitations was up on the collection of the account. However, that was not valid. So if I decided to take this to court again for the monetary report damages, I would definitely rewrite this differently.
right.
Um, for the monetary report, I will start with what got me the dismissal from Navy Federal, and I will start with that clause that this is not my debt. I think it's a different ball game if my language is different. So I tell people all the time it's about the language, it's about the letter, and it's about the law. So, once you know how to put it up in a certain way and stay focused on that and that only, um, and have a judge that know that they can definitely in small claims court, aka justice court, trial the Fair Credit Reporting Act laws. Once you have that, that's half of the battle. Like I said, unfortunately, this judge just wasn't aware. She's accustomed to people just winning by default. Because a lot of people that did show up for court, we tell people to just show up at least. Well, they showed up and they would ask them, the first question the judge asked, is this your debt? They only showed up to make payment arrangements or agreements. They did not show up to dispute that it was their debt, and that was through a collection agency. So um, you have a lot of people that's just unaware
Yeah,
and not informed. Yeah.
That's why I say it's kind of different. That's why I made the statement the other day. I was like, it's like it's almost controlling a man's thinking. Like
Mhm,
they pretty much know how people gonna come when they come to court. But you know how the old saying go, like if you control a man's thinking, then you don't have to worry about his actions. So they already know when people come to court, they what they gonna automatically say is my debt or I just want to make payment arrangement. They ain't gonna put up no fight. Uh,
mhm,
even if I'm in a predicament, I'm never gonna let nobody like I learned this like when me and my wife them got kicked out of we lost our first house and I tell this story like in the first book I wrote how we lost the first house and I had to go stay in a red roof inn and all of that. I thought to myself like certain things I wouldn't fight uh because I really didn't know. And then
mhm,
when it hit me one day, I was like, man, I'm gonna stop helping other people, meaning corporations, collection agencies, or whatever. I'm gonna stop helping them help me hurt myself or put me in a worse predicament. I'm not gonna do that. Like I almost like if I get behind. Well, when I back then I was if I got behind on my car, like okay, nah, I ain't letting you take my car.
mhm.
Cause if I do that, now I'm in a worse predicament, and you don't care nothing about me,
Right,
and I ain't gonna let that happen. Like
absolutely.
I'm gonna fight you. However, I gotta fight you. If that mean like I got a video on YouTube, I got a video on YouTube. It probably about it's 10 years old where a repo man came to my house,
Mhm,
and you know what I'm saying. He ain't leaving my house with no car, and I let him know like it's certain things he couldn't do. Like you got to see that video. But anyway, that just hit me one day, and most people don't think like that. Like I'm not coming to court to admit like to help you put me in a worse situation. And we gonna we gonna see this thing through.
well, let me ask you this. 10 years ago, 2014, 2000, we have internet, but your knowledge of credit, your knowledge of the repo game, um, was it through more internet searching? Was it more through going to the library or free time and reading all the books that you or maybe a books a million or something? Or would you accredit it to having a mentor? Like, how did you get so knowledgeable?
About the
Right,
credit.
because you know what? One of your videos you put no, not video. It was a video, but if I'm not mistaken, it's in the Conspiracy of Credit book. You were even talking about AI and self-driving vehicles, and I'm talking about this was years ago.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
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 see, I know that bitch.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, how did he know that this is where this was going? So many years ago.
And you know how people be like, let's see what this road leads to.
Mhm,
Like the only place a road can lead to is the one that you take. You know. So even back then, and I say that meaning like back then, I just always paid attention to whatever the trend was. Like you know, and I followed that trend. That part of it, yeah, I would do research on like the whole RFID chip or well, if it had something to do with the US dollar or politics or different laws that MasterCard or Visa put in place. And I would just collect the dots. But most of the time, most of the things I learned about credit, I learned it via trial and error. I made
mhm,
some mistakes trying different things, and some things I hit. You know, I hit it the first time.
right,
Like even with the collection agencies, I eventually found out. Okay, I'm gonna just send them. I'm just gonna ask them, hey, send me the master bill of sale. And
mm,
I discovered like, okay, they don't want to send you that
right,
because the master, yeah, like that's a way of making them back up.
mhm,
But I learned it through trial and error. Like I'm trying shit. The repo, I'm trying shit. Like I can remember one time I'm in a Benz I had. Yeah, it was on the repo list, and I'm in the Benz. The repo man behind me and the police behind him, and eventually I pulled over. Police pulled over, and I explained to the guy that was trying to repo the vehicle, like basically what my rights were and what he could and could not do. And you know what the police said? He right. He right. Because
Wow.
basically, like if they repo a car from you, they stealing. Like, and when I say stealing, I just mean possession is 9/10 of the law. Who has the
Right.
vehicle? Now, if
Okay.
they get it, then they got it. But if they don't, they're gonna have to go. They're gonna have to go through some, go through the legal system. So,
Mhm.
I tried a lot of stuff that might be kind of people might consider that being, some cowboy stuff. It may be wrong in some people's eyes. It may be right. But yeah, I did have a mentor when I got older, and his name is Terrence Harris. Like, you know, Terrence was like one of the first guys that even took me to Las Vegas, and I had the opportunity to sit on it. That's when I first really started learning about shell corporations and the whole banking system. So when
Okay.
I'm sitting there in the meetings with them, I'm sitting there as an observer, but I'm taking notes. Like I would be texting my wife's phone back with notes. When I'm texting her stuff that I want to remember and that I want to research and look up. And that's what I did. And then over the years I just got good at it, you know. Uh, but yeah, I guess if that answers your question. Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah, so and
You
I'm
know,
paying attention now.
right, right.
Yeah. To what's gonna happen next. It's a lot of people gonna be in a very bad predicament, like with with the economy that's on economy already bad. Like let's say for instance, I'll say this and now I kind of shut up.
Oh, go
You know
ahead.
how the housing market is. People say the housing market gonna fall, but I don't know. I don't think so. Not no time soon. But like the
Oh,
house
hold on,
prices,
let me ask you this. What about interest rates dropping? Do you see the Fed right before the election anytime dropping interest rates?
yeah, but they ain't gonna drop to no. They ain't gonna drop to no 3.5% or no 2.5%. They might drop to 5 if it gets
Okay.
there low.
Mhm.
But you got to think all the houses have increased in value. Like I live in Memphis. Now Memphis done caught up with California. Like
Wow.
back in the day, you go to California, a house in the hood was $500,000. You
Mhm.
know, $1 million. Now in Memphis, the houses that you used to get for 200,000, 300,000, they 800, 900,000. So what's going to happen next? They reappraising all of the houses.
Mhm.
They reappraising all of the houses. So what comes with the reappraisal? The people that's renting houses, they're gonna end up paying even more rent because if you rent a house from me, they go up on my taxes. I gotta raise the rent on you,
That's right. Got to.
and that's like right now, you got a lot of hedge funds and these big investment groups that's buying like warehouses of houses. You know, they control the whole neighborhoods. And who does it hurt the most? Poor people,
Right.
you know? So,
Right. Right. And I think my biggest takeaway today was switching from defense to offense.
yeah,
Right. When I was a defendant, um, I would say that the burden of proof was more on the plaintiff, right?
right.
It's easy to say this is not mine, but when you are the plaintiff, then you got to be on offensive mode, not defensive mode. You got to have your terminology together. You have to know the law within yourself and say, Judge, I asked for this, this, and this according to the fair, because your judge may not be knowledgeable. according to the Fair Credit Report Act, and have those laws printed out. And I did not receive, and this is my right as a consumer to receive it. So as a result, I'm asking for the monetary damages according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act law that you're requesting the damages for, and based off this situation. So I may do it again. Who knows? I may go next month and go to October, because at this point I was the plaintiff. It only thing it took from me today was 3 hours of my time. I was 5 minutes away from the courthouse. They had to fly in. They had to have the expense. They had to prove their case. And at the end of the day, I still got a deletion. So I'm
Yeah,
happy, and I'm more knowledgeable now.
yeah, I know where to go, but you know, keep going up. I told somebody this today. I said, man, just remember, whenever you see people, if you see 1,000,000 people going west, man, go east. That's the key to it all.
Right.
That's the key to it all, because all the sheep gonna go in the same direction.
Exactly.
All the sheep gonna go in the same direction. You
And
know?
it was some people in court that knew me. I didn't even, they knew me on social
Yeah,
media, and they was like, I know that, I think that's her. And they told me, one particular lady said that it was a credit card account, and she just said, the account wasn't hers. And she's supposed to have an extended court date, but she hasn't received any notification in the mail. And I said, well, actually, in that situation, no news is really good news,
right.
with that. So just having a little bit of knowledge, taking yourself to court, listening to us, and learning these things is better than going in with no knowledge.
Exactly. And I say this, hey man, when you gotta fight like your life depend on it. You got to,
It
because
does.
yeah, I was about to say, because it does, you
Yeah,
know. But we're gonna have to do this again, you
most
know.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm glad you hopped on here with me today. And hopefully, man, this helps some people out. And you ought to just tell them like where they can find you, because you I know you had stopped doing videos for a while, but you probably you gonna start back, right?
Yes, the best way to find me would be, even though I have, let me rename this Crypto Queen, because they can see my books in the background. I have,
Right.
let me a shameless plug on that. That Crypto Chris Profits. Crypto Chris Profits is about a young minority, young Black boy who decides he wants to learn about crypto, and he does, and it gives his journey of learning about crypto. So his story of rags to riches. Right here, how Crypto Chris, kind of like the 2024 what was the other Richie Rich type comedy books?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this is like the 2024. This is his best friend, Crypto Christie, and it gives financial story. It's a very informed read, but it's also an easy read. I really had the concept of writing this for a children's book, but then I think I wrote it to more young adults type level. After I started teaching elementary kids, I said I have to make it more, but it's really good. I think for anyone wanting to understand crypto, it's the Poor Little Rich Kid Profits. And then this is my other book. You can find both of them on Amazon, My Millionaire Notes. And this is just 111 notes. I'm on my Billy Carson thing with the 1111. Those are my numbers.
I like it.
Um, Written by me. Both of these are Amazon. Just the notes that I've taken over the years, like you said, note takers are money makers. When you would text those
Fact.
notes back to your wife, and just notes I had over the years, like note 42. I just opened this one. Wealthy people have businesses, investment, and they use a system. And wealthy people brag on the money they make off leverage, not labor. And so what do wealthy people leverage? They leverage their credit, they leverage their assets, they leverage their good name, right? That's even biblical. A good name is better than riches, and that's all about credit. One of my favorite scriptures, I think, Corey, in the Bible, that tells you how to go from rags to riches and how to leverage your credit is 2 Kings chapter 4. When she went to the prophet Elijah and he told her to go borrow pots. Her husband had died, he didn't have life insurance, just ad-libbing. And her 2 sons were about to take it to the creditors. For me, that represents her 2 sons was about to work a job for somebody else. And he told her to go borrow pots from her neighbors and borrow as many as she can. And I tell people borrow means use your credit. She had her good name. And he showed her how to use her credit to open up her home-based business and to have her sons work with her. So there's definitely something in my next book, The Game of Credit and How to Play It, that I put in there. So they can find me on YouTube at Queen 11. That's E 2 1s and then EVEN. I got that from Club 11 in Miami. So it's Queen 11 because I talk about crypto, I talk about cash flow, I talk about credit, right? And I talk about coins, the importance of getting tangible silver, copper. Silver is the most undervalued asset in the world. Copper is the most shortage of copper globally. I have on copper bracelets for health reasons. So I do silver and copper. Some people, I don't really talk about gold a lot because at $2,500 an ounce for the poor working class and some middle class, they don't have the money to get a high ROI return on their investment. And that's what it is: credit, cash flow, crypto, and coins for me. And of course, Christ. But that's our message. That's how we're gonna help people. It's more ways to save money when you can save yourself from paying a debt collector, or you can not have your check garnished against a credit agency or a Navy Federal or Bank of America or something like that. That's increasing your cash flow. And
Facts, 100%.
once you increase your credit, you increase your cash flow. And once you increase your cash flow, you can increase your assets. So, hey, that's my story. I'm sticking with it.
Ah, okay then. I think you gave a lot of good information about court today. So,
Yeah.
but like I said, we're gonna have to do this again. Uh, I guess I'll be talking to you. I don't know, probably tomorrow, Monday, or whatever.
Okay.
But
Yeah, we definitely talk. And talking about systems, saving yourself time, energy, and money, is this paperwork that they presented me today. For example, I don't know if you can see it, it's dated 2022, 7/14/20. If you don't have people that can help you with this, that's why I tell people that talking about you can repair your own credit. Good luck with that. If it's something of this magnitude, it is much easier to tap in with people that's been through the process, know the laws, can help you much
right,
faster. They brought stuff from 2022 in court today, 2 years later. So
that's what I say. It ain't people be like, it's changed. Like you can't. It's a system.
it
This
is.
whole credit is a system. So that ain't gonna change. You just gotta know. You gotta know what's going on. You gotta know
Yeah.
what's going on. Like but
It's not
but
gonna change.
anyway,
You just gotta know how to play the game.
man,
Yeah.
facts 100%. But hey, it's been fun.
Thank you, Corey P. Smith.
Hey, I'll talk to you later. All
Okay.
right, peace out.
Peace out. Have a good
All
one.
right, you too.